let's talk about some awesome and free crochet patterns that were released this past April. Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with you all today. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some super cool patterns that were released in April. So I know I'm a few days late, but that's okay because you all need to know about these patterns. So these patterns were released only a few weeks ago during the month of April, and we're going to talk about size inclusive free garment patterns. We're going to talk about patterns for the home and patterns for accessories, and everything will be linked below. And so in terms of these patterns being free, either they're going to be available as a free download or they're going to be free on the designer's blog. All right, y'all, if you're excited as I am, let's get started. Okay, let's start with garments. All right, so the first one we have is the Spring Cellar Sweater designed by Tamara Kelly of Moogly. So this calls for a DK or sport weight yarn. It just kind of depends on your yarn and your gauge and all that good stuff. And so the bust circumference ranges between 41 to 65 inches. And in centimeters, that is 104 to 165. Okay, so the hook size you'll need for this is an I or a 5.5 millimeter. Now keep in mind, your tension is going to be different. If you do a gauge swatch, your gauge swatch may tell you that you need to go down a hook size or up a hook size, but I'm just going to be talking about what the pattern calls for, okay? All right, so there's a few skills that you'll need to know in order to make this sweater. You'll need to know how to do back loop only, foundation double crochet, mattress stitch for seaming, standing double crochet join, and the standing single crochet join. And so of course, if there's any skills that you don't know how to do, you can always go on YouTube and look them up. There's plenty of tutorials. So this sweater, it is an oversized V-neck pullover that features a drop shoulder. And I really, really like that open weave detail. I think that is absolutely stunning, really nice. And also I like the fact that this sweater is very lightweight, and I think it's going to be great for layering. So another thing to note about this pattern is that it is currently a part of a CAL, C-A-L, CAL, which is a crochet along. And so it looks like the designer is dropping clues for the pattern throughout the month of May. And so definitely check this out. It's still a free pattern, but definitely check it out if you want to be a part of that. Or you can just wait to the end and, get the pattern all together at once. All right, let's move on to our next pattern. It is the Budding Hem Skirt designed by Amy Gooderson for Premier Yarns. I love a good skirt. And so this calls for DK weight yarn, and the waist circumference ranges between 28 to 60 inches. And in centimeters, that is 71 to 152. So for the hook size, you'll need two. You'll need a G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter, and you're also going to need a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. And the skills that you'll need to know to make this includes chain, single crochet, double crochet, the puff stitch. And she does explain the puff stitch for you in the pattern. Also, sewing elastic together, because you'll need that for the waist. And also there's some increasing in the pattern as well. And so it is worked in the round, top down, and I love those airy, lacy details towards the bottom. I think it is a beautiful way to finish off this skirt. So it's a really nice one, and I think it'd be very flattering. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have the Braided Wheat Easy Summer Top designed by Brianna K Designs. So this one calls for Aran weight yarn. However, it does include instructions to make it using lace, fingering, DK, and worsted weight yarn. So there's a lot in this pattern. So depending on what type of yarn you want to use, it's customizable. So I really like that. The bust circumference ranges between 32 to 69 inches, and in centimeters, that is 81 to 175. And so in terms of the hook size, it does call for a G hook, which is a 4 millimeter. And what's interesting is like sometimes the G hook can be a 4 millimeter and sometimes the G hook can be a 4.25 millimeter. Which is it? Because I don't know. I really don't know. So if you know, let me know. I would appreciate it. I mean, does it depend on like the brand or what? I don't know. But anyway, so a few skills that you'll need to know for this one is back loop only, chain, foundation single crochet, slip stitch, and the wheat stitch. That's a new one to me. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm always up to learn. It looks like it doesn't require a lot of seaming, which I really do like. But what's awesome about this pattern is that it's customizable to 4 different lengths. So I really like that. I love a top or a pattern that you can make your own, and it just requires minimum seaming. So that's really nice. All right, let's move on to accessories. Okay, so the first accessory we have is the Kingsday Bag and Scarf, which is designed by Essie Birdies for durable yarn. So this one calls for a DK weight, and the dimensions in terms of this scarf and bag. So it's a dimension of 6 inches in length or 16 centimeters, and the height is 4 inches or 10 centimeters. So of course, if you want to know the individual dimensions and everything for both the bag and the scarf, you can definitely look on the pattern, and it will provide that for you. But yeah, so definitely check that out. I do believe that is in reference to the actual bag though. Okay, so the hook size that it calls for is an H hook, which is a 5 millimeter. And the stitches that you'll need to know include chain, single crochet, slip stitch, and single crochet 2 together. So not very difficult. Those are some pretty easy stitches. So I think anybody of any crochet level can definitely tackle this project. All right. And what I really like about this pattern is that you're getting like a 2-for-1 deal. That's always excellent. And both the bag and the scarf are available together for free. And so because these patterns are free, I've already downloaded them. I've already looked through them. I've already read through them, and I was able to download them all for free. So I was happy that I was able to do this research for you all and read through the pattern before I tell you all about them, because I just wanted to make sure that they are free. So yeah, so I've definitely looked through all of these already. Okay, so the next pattern that we have for an accessory is the Emily bottle holder, and this is designed by Girly D. And so the yarn weight is worsted weight yarn. And the measurements lying flat has a height of 9 inches or 23 centimeters. And width-wise, it's 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And so this one calls for a number 5 or a 5 millimeter crochet hook, which is an H hook. And to make this, you will need to know how to chain, single crochet, double crochet, slip stitch, and do the V stitch, which is very simple. And so the body is worked from the bottom up, and it's continuous and rounds. And so then you have the strap, which is crocheted back and forth from that final round that you do in the round. And so no seaming is required. You don't have to sew anything for this one. So that one's always a plus, right? Okay, so let's talk about what I'm wearing. I know you all have been staring at this bright yellow beret. So this is the raspberry beret that is designed by Little John Yarn. I have made a bazillion of these hats. Little John's Yarn does a fantastic job with this pattern, and so definitely check it out. I've talked about it in other videos and things like that, but I will leave my Ravelry page to this hat below, so you can definitely check that out. But yeah, I really like it. I think it goes nice with my earrings, and yeah, I think it's fantastic. And there's so many cool ways to wear it. Sometimes I'll wear it just like on top of my head like this, but then other times I'll kind of like tilt it to the side. So you can always wear it like tilted back. So definitely check out this pattern. And like I said, I will leave it linked below. So let's talk about patterns for the home. All right, so the first one we have is the bow coaster, designed by Danny West for Crochet Crafters. So I am a sucker for a coaster, okay? When you come up in this house and you're drinking something, please put it on a coaster. There will be a coaster waiting for you because I'm not trying to have all that moisture on my table, okay? I'm definitely that person that will just gently slide you a little coaster. You know, go ahead and use that. But I feel like this was a really cute way to show off a coaster. And so it calls for Aran weight yarn. And the coaster part of the, just like the circular part in the middle, not the whole bow, but just the coaster part, that is 4 inches or 10 centimeters in diameter. And this calls for a 5mm or H crochet hook. And to make this, you only need to know how to chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. So you get to use a lot of different things, or a lot of different techniques with this one. And I just think the design is so cute, and I think it would look great on my desk or on my table. I think it's really, really nice. Okay, let's jump on to the next one. It is the Tulip Garden Flower Blanket, designed by Melissa Hasler of Lovable Loops Crochet. All right, so this one calls for Aran weight yarn, and it may look a little similar to the last crochet roundup I did because it was a blanket that featured hearts in it. But this one actually features tulips in it. And I think it's so fun for the spring season. You can kind of switch it up each season. And so the approximate size of this blanket is 52 inches or 132 centimeters wide and 60 inches or 152 centimeters long. So quite a large blanket, definitely a large blanket. And the hook size that it calls for is a J hook, which is a 6mm. I don't get to use the J hook very often because it's so big, but it is so fun to work with. I love that loose gauge that it creates. All right, so for this one, you just need to know how to chain, double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch. Really basic skills there. And I really like the rows of tulips. I think you could really, it would be a fun way to use up some mini skeins. And I like that the tulip rows are only at the top and the bottom of the blanket. So basically you're only working with one color all the way through the middle. So it's not like you're doing a whole bunch of color changes and things like that. And yeah, I really like that feature about it. So let me know what new patterns you found during the month of April. Please share with the class. We would all love to know. Also, have you tried any of these patterns or started on them or saved them or anything like that? Definitely keep in contact or the neighbors. Okay, I was so distracted. I was like, what in the world is that? Probably a package or something, but either way, what was I saying? See, I've got like a squirrel brain. It's like squirrel, and then I'm gone. Now I need to come back. But anyway, oh yes, I was talking about upcoming videos. So I will be doing a knit version of this as well, where I will be rounding up the knitting projects that I found during the month of April. So stay tuned for that. You all know I crochet and I knit, so definitely stay tuned for that. I would really appreciate it. All right, y'all, it was so much fun talking with you all today. Let me know what you worked on while watching, or did you just chill? You all know I love reading your comments, so definitely leave me a comment. And thank you so much for clicking that bell notification and that like button. It really does wonders for my channel. So, thank you all so much. I'm so close to 11,000 subscribers. That is wild. Wild, y'all. Okay, like, thank you for your support. I mean it. Okay. Really. And if you all would like to join my channel and become a member, you can click that join button below. A friend of mine recently told me that if you're using your phone, the join button is really hard to find. And I looked at her phone and I was like, oh my gosh, it is. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave the link to my member only subscription down as a pinned comment below, so you can definitely check that out. And yeah, each level has different perks. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, bye.